And it should be recording now. Okay. And nobody actually volunteered to be a moderator, so I'll just be the moderator again today. As you've probably seen in the Cloud Native Nordics meeting notes, we have a rather big agenda, I guess, with my name on pretty much all of it. I put Lucas's name on one of them, hoping that he will be here, but I don't see him, so I'll just try to talk a bit about what we have been discussing up until now about these projects as well. But yeah, let's just kick off. So the first item on the agenda was the feedback and review of the first Cloud Native Nordics tour with Russ Miles and Alexander Savitsky. I'm not sure if there's anybody from Stockholm, no, Helsinki, no, Copenhagen. I'm not sure. Laszlo, did you attend in Copenhagen?
I was there, yes.
Do you have some feedback on how that meetup went and how the speakers were and all of that?
I think it was awesome all around, both the attendance. I think we were like 70 people. The venue was awesome, and then the talks were super nice. I think everybody got a nice value out of it, and I think the guys were just generally super pleasant to be around and very talkative. The speakers, I mean, and everybody else as well, of course.
Awesome. So more tours, I guess, it's something that we should be working on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
I think from Aarhus side, I think we have sort of the same. At least Rasmus and I were lucky enough to go down to the hotel with them afterwards and grab a beer and got a lot of interesting stories. Nothing to be mentioned here.
Oh yes, very interesting. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was super cool, and it seemed like the guys liked that. For example, Russ, he explicitly said to me that he would not have been able to do a trip to only Aarhus. It was only possible because he could sort of get 4 days out of it and then take a whole work week out and then go to all our locations in Cloud Native Nordics. So that's pretty huge, right?
Yeah, I think it works as a concept to actually have this and sort of offer for this to international people and get them out to the maybe the smaller cities. Hopefully, also this time was mostly the capitals of Denmark, Norway. No, not Norway, Sweden and Finland, and we were lucky enough to get them past Aarhus as well. But we are really trying to with that this is actually just the next point of the agenda. The upcoming tours is to trying to get people around the Nordics to have every group involved, and it's kind of tough when there's only 4 days in a week to do a meetup, and they don't want to take out 3 weeks of that time to do a tour of all cities. So we just have to figure out where's the most sort of local activity going on, and because it's up to local organizers to actually do this. We will of course help with setting things up as much as we can, but it's really up to the local guys to actually make this work. So yeah, for upcoming, Rasmus.
Yeah, I just want to say, it really depends on the local organizers, right? So if people are not engaging or don't think it's important to, for example, Aalborg to have the next tour, then just say so. That's fine. It depends on the sort of crowds we get in the different cities.
Yeah, but we'll
I think speaking about Nick Jones, that's I think that will still be a hot topic for Aalborg, at least as I think.
I know. I just used you as an example, Alan.
That's good. Don't use me as a bad example.
But yeah, regarding that tour, Nick Jones and Hans Christian Flatten, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I think Aalborg you already scheduled a meetup for the 22nd of January, as far as I remember, and
that's correct.
But yeah, we can talk the details in the channel. But right now it's Copenhagen, either Aarhus or Aalborg, however we can make that work.
Right. Okay.
Then Oslo and Bern at the end. That's what we
Because
are sort of aiming at right now.
Yeah, I actually asked the guys that offered to host the event on the 22nd of January whether it would be possible to move it, and they don't have a problem, and we have not announced it yet, so that we might be flexible there.
Cool. Yeah, just go to the. I think we have 2 channels with Nordic Tours, and this is the one without a 1 at the end.
Okay.
Let me see. Yeah. Oh, there's a 2 yeah. So that we have 2 tours actually. In January, we are trying to organize. One is the one we just talking about. That's a channel. I can just put it in somewhere. Yeah, I'll just add it to the notes afterwards. And then we have a second tour with Ihor and trying to go around Finland and also visit the northern the Sweden group as well. Hopefully, if we can set that up and make all the details work. We've just discussed some of the things this morning. Yeah,
I'll definitely be here. Just we need to figure out on what dates.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's the same week. It's the week of January 20th. So
yeah.
maybe like a few days difference.
We will have 2 tours on the same time. One in Denmark, Norway, and one in Sweden and Finland. So it's hopefully going to be a lot of activity on Twitter. Hashtag Cloud Native Nordics, right? And yes, also following up on the feedback from, I spoke to Ross Miles just to ask him for feedback of what he thought of this tour, and he really wants to come back. So he mentioned March would be a good month to do this, do a second tour. He really wanted to visit Iceland, so we'll figure something out with Iceland, and then some of the groups not having an official sort of Cloud Native Nordics tour visit them. This so far would be Bern and Oslo and Gothenburg as well. So that's what we are aiming at right now. But yeah, so if you have any ideas for a second speaker for the tour of Finland in January and a second speaker for the tour of March, please pitch in, because it would be nice to have 2 guys traveling around and just following each other. I think that was also one of the things that Ross mentioned, that was pretty cool to have a sort of a travel companion to do these tours with. So if we can set something up like that, that would be awesome. Great. Anything else regarding tours, or should we just continue? Nobody? All right. So the this is the third thing on the agenda, is just an update on the website. We have been doing a lot of work trying to finish this before KubeCon. Hopefully we'll be able to launch this in a week, maybe, if everything works out. I've tried doing some web development, and I'm not in love at all.
Yeah, we let's just say it how it is, Casper. We suck at web development. We are not the front end guys. Jeppe is doing an amazing job, and so is Lucas with the generator and some of the stats API together with Jeppe. They're doing a lot.
I finally figured out how GraphQL works as well, so I'm being to pitch in with some stuff on the stats API as well. But anyway, you can check it out on v2.cloudnativenordics.com. I think we have almost all the data. Let me just share the screen just quickly, just to show. This one, share. Hopefully you can see my screen now. And this is what we have right now. It's very pink and purple and stuff. So if you have feedback, just pitch in, because this is somewhat what I could sort of do with my design skills, which are not really that good. But this is what we were sort of aiming at, having, of course, the Slack invite on top, some things about what is Cloud Native Nordics, what is it that we're trying to do. Right now it's a lorem ipsum, so if you have any good ideas to what we could write here, it's sort of defining our mission statement or value proposition or whatever, just pitch in with some ideas for that. these stats down here is now generated and comes from whatever data we generate in the meetups generator as well. So this is live data, and we have the upcoming events also fetched from meetup.com through the meetup generator. So all of this is working now. I think the biggest thing that we changed since last time is that we now have an event page that doesn't really work right. It's really good. The covers should actually be here. I'm not sure why they aren't. But anyways, the cover photos of each meetup will be here, and we'll sort them in, of course, some nice way and stuff like that. I think almost all the content is here. We have all the different sponsors and stuff like that. There is a change in the meetup generator right now that will sort of do different tiers of sponsors. So we start, I'm not sure, I don't think we'll be able to do this before we go live, but the idea is to differentiate the different companies of how they're helping us. Are they providing speakers? Are they providing venues or food? Or so that we can sort of have some way of tracking how the different companies are actually helping us. And the speakers is what we have had so far. It's just a list of all the speakers. So yeah, that's where we are now. I think we are almost ready to go live. I would really love some feedback on the landing page in terms of what we could do to make this a bit less pink and maybe more stylish in a way. I'm not sure what to do. If you have any feedback, please pitch in. I think we have a website channel, and maybe that would be a good place to actually start discussions on this. So if you have anything, go to the website channel and add it there, or add them as issues on the repo. That would also be.
Yeah, Kasper, can you quickly just maybe show the GitHub page? You did a good job at what is it called? Creating issues and trying to sort of make us organized.
I'm not that good at actually closing issues when so but yeah, we have some issues in here. I think some of this stuff down here is more detailed pages for the different speaker details, meetup group details. All of that doesn't really matter for now. We just want to have the page live just to be able to show sort of the idea behind it, which is of course to make Cloud Native Nordics more attractive in terms of for companies to provide speakers or venues or whatever, because they will be on our webpage, and that would be sort of an incentive for them to hopefully help us out in any way or form. But yeah, there's issues in here. I should probably go through them afterwards just to see. Some of it is probably finished. But yeah, if you have something, create an issue or go to the website channel. The stats API, it doesn't, maybe there's not much to say, but there's a lot of rewrites in the meetup generator that is also that sort of forced the rewrite of some of the stuff in the stats API as well, which has been done by Lucas and Jeppe. So that's great, and everything is aligned and live now. So it works as it should. Also, the cloudnativenordics.com webpage right now previously was pointing to a VM at CloudDK, which is they helped us with hosting in the beginning, and now we moved that to our Kubernetes-based infrastructure as well. So everything now within the Cloud Native Nordics is running on our own Kubernetes cluster in DigitalOcean, which is pretty nice because it makes it so much easier to move things around when we want to go live. Yes. Yeah, the KLS infrastructure is also working now. Had some issues with the GitHub Actions and migrating from V1 to V2. That sort of broke everything for us.
If you haven't heard the story, you can go into one of the channels where a guy asked about GitHub Actions. It's all there. It's pretty juicy how they did this. So if you want to know, just go read it.
Yes, but it's working now. So if you have anything, you do PR, some stuff, whenever we merge to master, we will deploy them into the cluster. Of course, using Flux and other cool CNCF projects. Yeah. So the next point is updates on the meetup generator. I just did a little bit of that. now that Lucas is not here, and hopefully Lucas will be here next time, but I'll just tell you a little bit about what he has been up to. He created this tool called Workshop CTL, which is a tool for running workshops, basically. It can spin up, whatever number of attendees you want to a meetup, and it will spin up, in this case, I guess 40 Kubernetes clusters on DigitalOcean, for example. Each of them having their own sort of Visual Studio Code running in the browser, and they can sort of interact with the cluster, right? YAML files, Helm should be installed as well. It comes with Flux out of the box, so GitOps is also enabled. A lot of cool things is being put into this tool that will hopefully make workshop a lot easier soon. I know that Lucas tried it out, and he did a workshop last week, I guess. It's also recorded on YouTube, so you can also find it in the YouTube channel if you want to see more of how he actually did this. But it's there, so check it out. It's hopefully going to be pretty awesome. The plan is to hopefully at someday to hand it over to CNCF if they are interested in having it, and sort of make it more sort of available across the entire community, because it's a tool that I guess everybody could use. You just need some cloud credits somewhere, and you will have a really cool Kubernetes environment running. So yeah, let me go back here.
Yeah, when we tried it out in Tampere, DigitalOcean was actually down, but he managed to move it over to, I think they used Weaveworks Google credentials, and then we spun up clusters on Google instead.
Okay, so that's why he had the support for GKE. Okay, awesome.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure, or I don't remember his name, but like Lucas didn't do the presentation. There was some other guy from Container doing the presentation, and while the guy was presenting, Lucas spun up the clusters. So when we started the workshop, we had 0 working clusters, but in the end, it worked out pretty fine.
As long as DigitalOcean didn't break when you hit the command.
No. Yeah, initially I think we thought that we were like rate limited or something, but I think like the whole DigitalOcean was down. They had some event issues, so no new events were registered. So that's why I didn't get any cluster.
But awesome that you were able to actually point it to another cloud, and it worked out in the end. So all of this is recorded, right?
Yes, or I'm not sure. Like Lucas suffering is on the tape, but yeah.
All right, I'll have to watch that. Awesome. But yeah, that was sort of the update on this. I'm sure Lucas will be going into more details on this at another sort of Mighty Hangout. We'll also be talking. Hopefully, he will also be talking about this in our presentation at KubeCon, if I manage to get a hold of him. Because that is also one of the topics of our presentation. And the meetup generator, we have been discussing some stuff around this as well, renaming it to Meetup Kit, and sort of extract sort of the core of it to make it again a generic tool that all sort of meetups in the world basically could use for generating stats and stuff like that. And we sort of gain from actually having tooling like this. So that's also one of the things that Lucas has been working on, is to make this ready to be handed over to CNCF again, if they're interested in adopting it. And hopefully that will, of course, get a lot more people involved in the project, and it will be a lot easier to work with eventually. Good, so that was that topic. Next one is Cloud Native Con plus KubeCon in San Diego in a couple of weeks. 2 weeks, I guess. So we will be having, as we did in Barcelona, a gathering on Monday evening at 8 o'clock. I found this place called Hard Rock Hotel Rooftop Bar. Looks pretty nice. Should be, I think it was rated #1 rooftop in San Diego. So hopefully they have a couple of seats or some place we can sit down. We also have t-shirts ready. I actually have them right here. Let me just show you. You're still seeing my screen. I'll just stop sharing that. And you can see, hopefully. We have the map on the back and the Cloud Native Nordics logo in the front. And I have 30 of these. So the only thing we're going to be around 8 people in San Diego or something like that. So hopefully there's going to be t-shirts that we can distribute to the other groups as well. But yeah, we'll see about that. Otherwise, we had some discussion in the organizers channel to maybe figure out if we can find a company or anything that, or somebody that were sort of willing to pay for t-shirts, maybe for a logo on one of the sleeves or something like that. But we can discuss that later. So yeah, Monday evening at 8 o'clock at the Hard Rock Hotel roof bar is what we have right now. The next item is update on Kubernetes Community Day. This Monday we had a short, no, it wasn't really short. We had a meeting about sort of the kickoff meeting to actually kick off the discussions around Kubernetes Community Day in the Nordics. And I think we actually got off to a nice start. We sort of agreed on, it would be nice to have 2 days. The most central place in the Nordics would be Stockholm, and we are sort of aiming for September, October 2020. That's sort of the timeline we are working with right now. Again, if you want to be involved in this, go to the conference channel. There's a doodle for next week's meeting. So if you have anything you wanna contribute to in regards to Kubernetes Community Days, just go to the conference channel. We are exploring different options. We have Google involved in maybe being the financial sponsor, or we have some other options as well that we are sort of looking at. So we are taking sort of the initial step at creating a Kubernetes Community Day in the Nordics, and we will of course be following up on where we are at these monthly Hangout as well. So yeah, if you want to help, join #conference. And I see that Lucas is actually in here now. Maybe he has. Are you here, Lucas? He's moving things around in the agenda, but he's not saying anything.
Yeah, we can hear you. Oh, no, maybe. No? No.
Lucas? No? No, okay.
Find him in the document and write something at the cursor.
Yeah, he just moved around the sort of the topic that I put his name on. So, okay, I see he left now. He probably has some connection issues or something like that. Okay, we'll just continue.
While he's fixing that, I think it's very important to say that EHO has actually agreed to look into what a local conference means, because you have to have local presence. And we are a region more than a local part, but what does local mean? So EHO will try and figure that out with the CNCF guys and what makes sense, because we are sort of tightly knit and we just need some people, for example, in Stockholm, and we already have that. So, but still to be decided.
Yeah, I actually see that Victor is here from Stockholm. Maybe muted.
I'm here.
Ah, great. So I'm not sure if you have talked to what's his name, Stefano. But anyways, Stefano was running or helped run the Open Infra Days in Stockholm, I guess, or something like that. But
yes,
we would really want to have the Stockholm group involved in this. So if you could help out in any way, please join the conference channel, because it will be in Stockholm as it looks right now. So it would be nice to have some more local people on the ground to actually, propose venues and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've joined the channel.
Great, awesome, thanks.
Cool. See you at the next meeting.
And I know that you've talked a bit with Jasmine, right, Kasper? About
Yes.
what we can help out with.
Yeah, we are currently trying to find different options for the sort of the financial side of running a conference and finding financial partners in that regard. And we are exploring, whether we should have multiple smaller sort of financial partners, or if we should go with Google as a financial partner. That's of course, pros and cons in whatever we choose. But we are exploring the different options right now.
I think Google isn't really getting any exposure at KubeCon, so that might be. Does anyone know what sarcasm is?
Yeah.
No, I think if we are local, I mean, it would be great to get Google to help out, but I think it would also be great to actually do some local stuff, get local companies involved. I think in our case, we probably can't help out with a lot of money, but we can help out with a lot of experience in running conferences. And we have people who are really good at that, and that's what they do.
Yeah.
And other companies might have other things where we can leverage some expertise, or maybe, I mean, some companies have resources that we can do workshops on a day using. I mean, there's a lot of great. One of the things I liked about KubeCon last time was that you had these workshops the day before. We could do something like that, where you could, for some symbolic amount of money, get a really good workshop in whatever it might be, and then those money would go to the conference or Cloud Native Nordic. There's a lot of options, but we should.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Hi, Lucas.
Well, I think I need new headphones. So probably worn out these ones. Like Google or multiple large ones too. Pouring the money into diversity scholarships, or like the day before conference things, into those kinds of resources would be nice.
Yeah, what we talked about was that the important part was that it was not anyone's conference. So it wasn't Google's, it wasn't Amazon, it wasn't Azure's. It has to be multiple.
Yeah. By so I don't know if it's possible, but like getting the multiple large ones on there kind of in some sense makes that, but then it's like missing the local feeling. So.
Yes, and I think also that one of the things I feel a lot of people are starting to hate about KubeCon is that the chance of actually getting a call for paper through is 0 to none. And if we do a local conference, I think it would be great if we actually try to at least get some speakers that are local to the Nordics to actually speak, so they feel they have a chance to actually do this.
I think the Kubernetes forums, so in India, for example, have 50-50 subcoders. Yeah. So
because if you're not on one of the cloud native projects and you don't work at Google or Microsoft, you basically don't stand a chance of speaking at KubeCon. I mean, it's 0 to no chance. So if we could have a Nordic conference where people in the Nordic would feel, I actually have a shot at getting to speak at this, and we get some big shots as well, of course, I think that would be a good thing.
Yeah. Sorry, while you guys are talking, I'm trying to pay for Zoom to not stop our recording in 5 minutes. So please just continue.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we should cut it short here and then say, if you're interested in everything conference, go to #conference channel. There's a meeting every week now because we need to sort of use some time on it and discuss these things. So I think that's what we should do, and then move on with the agenda. Sorry.
Okay. I also need to drop fairly soon. I actually have a math class here behind me, which I'm skipping at the moment. First workshop CTL.
I did a short introduction.
Yeah, Oliver doesn't seem to be here, but last Tuesday we had in Tampere, the second largest city in Finland, workshop for 30. We had 35 people on the. Hi.
How come you're not in class?
I'm doing a meeting. So we had 35 people on the list, and 30 people showed up, and everything went well. I had coded the workshop CTL so that you could do first workshop CTL gen. I can generate, creates 50 unique set of YAML, 50 unique packages of YAML, spits out, uploads to Git, and then well, everybody of those clusters have a Visual Studio Code instance. Everybody has like a public load balancer URL, Trafic instance, which load balances, and all of these things set up really nicely. External DNS manages DNS A records automatically in the cloud that you're in, etc., etc. And then Workshop CTL, once you have generated for a certain amount, you can do Workshop CTL apply, and then it basically takes the provider you have, the service account, and spins up then, for example, 30 clusters in DigitalOcean. The problem with this time was that DigitalOcean was down all last Tuesday. So they had a major outage. So I haven't still really recovered from the stress of that day long.
Was it your fault?
I don't think so. but yeah, all Kubernetes clusters features were down. Node droplets could be created. Pretty much, it was unusable. So for the evening, I actually ended up doing, like, when the workshop, we went into the workshop and it started, kind of, I sent a quick message to Alexis, CEO of WeWorks, that if I can use their GKE resources. And then I made a bash script to like provision the clusters in WeWorks GKE clusters instead. So during, then I had another person do the first introductory part of the workshop, which was an hour, and then during that hour I got the clusters up so we could actually run it. But it was it was not a fun experience. So what I learned is next time I do a workshop, I will have at least 3 different cloud providers and 3, or preferably 2 accounts with quotas on each of these cloud providers to avoid the same hassle. So yeah, the tool worked. The conclusion is the tool worked. The cloud did not, but we got it running in the end. Now the tool is uploaded or like moved to Cloud Native Nordics, so anyone can use it. At the moment, it's not really ready to be used by anything else than Cloud Native Nordics, but hopefully by me and other people fixing the issues, there's like 10 of them or something I've documented, then it will work for any given repo. So you can like create your own Helm charts and JavaScript modifications, and then like boom up new clusters in lightning speed, because it takes like 30 clusters maybe takes 10 minutes or something. So it's fairly nice and has let's encrypt and all of that kind of stuff set up. Prometheus operator and these things also coming. But so that's you can take a look at the code. It's written in Go. It has a simple provider interface for, well, creating Kubernetes clusters on the cloud. Currently only DigitalOcean, but I didn't upload. I didn't git push my bash provider for GKE, but it needs to. But we should have GKE and Amazon and those kind of. It's fairly simple in the sense that it's just like create is one provider, one create cluster method, and like as long as we implement that for different, I don't know, maybe we could even have some local local cloud provider support or something. But yeah, that's the user story from last week. Yeah. Here also, I will not have a lot of time to spend more on this tool in the coming weeks, but it should be well enough to get started with experimenting. So that's any questions about workshop CTL, running workshops?
It's going to be amazing for the presentation at KubeCon, I guess, to tell the story.
Yeah. When it works, it's really neat. And the cloud does too.
Yeah.
So
I'm just looking forward to try it out and actually try to run a workshop with something like this, because we had a lot of issues when we were sort of running one of our Kubernetes 101 hack nights in Aarhus with what kind should they use Minikube somewhere on Windows, somewhere else. Yeah, so we actually ended up using Katacoda for some of it, and it would just be nice to
some
have
their own cluster, and some used VirtualBox with one node on their own machine. It was pretty tough.
Yes, so this is hopefully gonna help out a lot in actually running workshops.
Yeah, because like the good part of it was that like we could basically, well, Anton and a couple of others just created some notes with like a unique number, so that we could they just got their note like a post-it note or whatever, and that was their cluster, and then they went to cluster 11.workshops.cloudnativenordics.com, and boom, they had the Visual Studio Code instance. They put in Kubernetes rocks or whatever I had set for the password, and then then they had all the code they needed, also all the solutions to the code, so that they would start a new directory and like do it. But if they had to cheat, they actually could copy paste if they missed something, and the slides were available too. I did, for some of the solutions, I base 64 encoded them so they wouldn't see them up straight, which was kind of funny, but still included in instructions that if you do need to check, then
need to decode. That's actually a smart way to hide some of the details. Yeah. Awesome. Do you have anything regarding the meetup kit you want to share? Just some of the ideas that we've been talking about in splitting it up and.
So I think the current state there would be we need people to add their LinkedIn or Twitter. No, not LinkedIn. Twitter or GitHub social profiles in the speakers.
Yeah.
So with that, we could, well, maybe not in time for KubeCon anymore, but it would need to be done so we could actually at KubeCon show like a slide or no, not a slide, but like the website with the things, and actually have faces for at least 30% of the speakers using their already public stuff.
That would be nice, yeah.
But yeah, somebody just needs to go through all of our 120 speakers and Google them, and then hopefully find Twitter or GitHub profiles.
Do we have support for? Do we have right now in the model? Is there support for adding that? I guess there is, but we are not.
There's Twitter and GitHub.
Okay.
Socials there.
And it should be fairly easy. Sorry.
Sorry, what did you say?
Where do you add that? Because there's a stats API repo and then it has a data folder in there, but that's not the source of the data, is it? Isn't it somewhere else? Or?
Yeah, it's in the meetups repo. That's so whenever the meetup generator runs, it will generate a config.json file in that repo. And this is where the stats API
doing a diagram that shows this, because it's pretty hard to figure out when you're not part of the process.
Yes.
Yes, and like well, I worked pretty much on it last month, but on all of these things. But this, well, this month I won't have that much time. It's pretty much other things going on. But the eventual idea of these is to greatly simplify all of these, and we're pretty far on that road already with Casper and Jeppe and others that have been helping. That we just have one repo which is called Meetup Kit, which produces a binary, and that binary you can, in your own Meetups repo, you can just download it from GitHub, curl it down or whatever, and then run Meetup Kit generate or something. And then Meetup Kit generate will do all the stuff in your repo that is needed. And if you do Meetup Kit serve or something like that, some other command, it will transfer to a daemon and actually serve the stats API. So that's what we would use in like the Kubernetes cluster for the backend for the website. So that we would have just one repo which produces a tool which does all of these things.
Yeah.
And then we can get rid of all of our like 5
Maybe.
repos depending on each other.
Yes.
So that's the eventual idea. And then that Meetup Kit tool could also be used by any other cloud native community across the NCF, because you can just, like, as long as you write YAML files,
and
hopefully at some point not even YAML files, something better, then like it knows what to do and can do that. So that's like help wanted. But I think at this moment, the most important thing is to get the site front end look nice.
Yeah, and I think we are pretty close to. So we just got the events in there the other day. I'm not sure why the pictures are not working. They work locally. I'll have to figure out why they're not working. But anyways,
work for your machine, right?
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, if we have the data for the speakers already available, it should be fairly easy to just add them through the Stats API and display them in the website. If somebody would like to help out with actually sort of getting the picture somewhere, then we could fairly easy set up something that will show the image on the website. So yeah, that again, help wanted. If anybody we don't know what to do today or tomorrow, please create a PR on the Meetups repo with social media profile images for all of our speakers. That would be awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, use Gravatar, right, for the pictures.
Sorry?
We could use Gravatar for the pictures, right?
Yeah, probably.
If you have an email. I don't know if you have emails. Or...
I'm not sure. I actually don't think we have any.
We don't. We just have a name on people.
What? So we do have an email, GitHub, speakers, bureau, and Twitter fields.
Do you have any content in the emails fields right now?
No, I think the only one that has anything there is me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But we were discussing this the other day if we should like have not mandatory but recommended email for the organizers public, but at the same time it's like privacy is maybe not the best, but then at least like try to. One thing I would like to do is to have some kind of like find problems in the data thing, which would just spit out a report of that. 100 of 120 speakers are missing social profiles, or like there's 5 meetups that don't have any sponsor attached, or like all of these things. You haven't uploaded the agenda for XY meetup X, Y, and Z, or things like that. So, or company who doesn't have a logo. So, but I haven't really gotten to do that yet. Hopefully, like again, that is also a help wanted. We have an issue for that dating way back. But yeah, until we have that, we can't really hold people accountable is probably the wrong wording, because this is all like on our spare time and like more for fun than super serious. But still like if you organize something, it would be nice to keep the data up to date. So
yeah, exactly. So in respect of everybody's time, I think we need to go through the last two agenda points in the last 10 minutes.
You should be the moderator next time.
I can do that if I'm
awesome. Okay, so the last two is just a thank you to all of you that provided that picture. So I've actually spent quite a while, a long time on actually arranging those photos on the slide. It was quite hard to actually make it work. And now people are adding more images. It doesn't align with all the rows. So if anybody want that picture up there, and it's not there at the moment, you need to sort of be in groups of 6 or something like that to actually make this work. I don't want to spend more time on actually sort of rearranging images. So yeah, but thank you for adding your photos. It's awesome that we are sort of able to show the community behind, and it's not only Lucas and I. It's all of you that sort of help and make this happen. Then it's just a point of, if you have any suggestions that you may find relevant to share at this presentation, something that you have noticed, perhaps running a meetup without Cloud Native Nordics and then running a meetup with Cloud Native Nordics, and what kind of difference you see in that. So it's just, if you have anything, please reach out. Or speak now, if you will. That's also allowed. We still have 10 minutes. No?
Yeah, I've run a couple of meetups. I have this other group, and I also have attended different meetups. And I think the structural stuff that we have here, and also the community behind it, is very valuable. There's a lot of inspiration to be found, and there's a lot of competencies that you can reach out for, which you don't, or at least I have not experienced in other setups.
Awesome, that's good to know.
It also seems, Alan. Sorry, Kasper.
No, go ahead.
No.
I don't have it.
It just seemed like Aalborg and Aarhus is sharing a lot of speakers, and it actually makes a lot of sense. So, for example, right now, Kasper and I and Henrik and Daniel from the Aarhus group is talking about could we take the meetup MHI Vestas is doing at Aalborg and use that in our meetup group. And in the same way, we are using some of the ones we have done in the past, for example, Kubernetes 101 stuff or Prometheus 101 stuff in Aalborg. So I just think it makes a lot of sense to do this, that we share if we can.
Yeah, that's definitely cool.
I'm just writing structural stuff. Awesome. So the last point on the agenda is just the YouTube channel. I just wanted to mention that Lucas has been doing a really great job at actually live streaming the past 3 events, I guess.
Yes.
And actually producing sort of speaker videos and putting them up on the Cloud Native Nordics YouTube channel as well. This is also where these meetings are uploaded after the meeting. So you can, of course, if you wanna watch it later or whatever, you can do that. And I see that Lucas, while I'm speaking, is adding more stuff to the agenda. So do you wanna talk about live streaming?
Yeah, so just a short note that like what we're using at the moment is a Sony Handycam for like filming the speaker, and then 2 Blackstorm streams. We're gonna eventually move to something better than a Blackstorm stream. It's like €100, pretty, in some sense, low-end HDMI capture. But anyways, it's worked for our immediate purposes. And then wireless Boya mics for capturing the audio from the speaker, which has been one of the most important things. Then we also capture, the one Blackstorm is for capturing the Sony Handycam feed, and one is for the HDMI stream for the speaker, because it has like both. It takes in one HDMI and all.
Oh no. Hello, Lucas.
We need to talk to our ISP in Finland.
Yeah, they have the fastest ISP in the Nordic, I think. Like biggest pipe. It's Funet, but I'm not sure why the Wi-Fi is congested.
Yeah, it's probably on the university Wi-Fi or something.
Yeah, but it's actually really good. Like students have 1 gigabyte per head to their apartments.
So first he breaks DigitalOcean, now he breaks Finland. God damn it!
At some point we have to wonder.
Yeah, but I think just continuing on what he was mentioning, I don't know anything about the actual sort of setup, but one thing that I was thinking of is that if there's any way to actually get some sponsors to actually do this, or sort of provide the different groups with these, if they want to do the work in actually live streaming, it would be sort of awesome if we could provide I don't know, a logo on the live stream or something like that for them paying for whatever equipment we need. I guess that's in euros, €1,000 or something like that, and you are up and running. It's a fairly cheap sponsorship if you actually get exposure to the whole internet. If you are good at posting on Twitter and our YouTube channel becomes more sort of attractive, it's I guess it's a fairly cheap way to actually get your logo on and get it out to many people.
If we're using OBS Studio, then it's really easy.
Using what?
Yeah, no. Now I'm back.
Open broadcast something. What does it stand for, Henrik?
OBS Studio, if that's what we're using. That's
okay.
All the cool kids are using that for streaming to Twitch and all that stuff. I'm actually playing with it right now.
Oh, cool.
Just create an overlay.
Yeah. So. Can you hear me? Somehow.
The guy talking about live streaming is falling out all the time.
Yeah. University network, right? So yeah, approximate cost is €1,000. I just put it in together with Oliver to like make this work, and yeah, we're using OBS Studio to do the thing. It was pretty easy. What we still need to do, Oliver asked Andre to design some graphics for like show the speaker name, and you can see it in the Turku. Anton, could you like link the Turku as an example there in the meeting notes recording? Like you can see it there. We just tried out some random graphics with the existing artwork, and then adding just some small piece of text, Twitter hashtags, and that kind of cloud native CNCF logos, and that kind of stuff.
It looked really great. It looked a lot better than the first live stream you sort of put the camera stream on top of the actual. So the camera stream is we're gonna upgrade from the Blackstorm stream to Elgato. That's what all the cool kids are using, right? Which is actually better for that. The Blackstorm stream is really good for HDMI for all times except when you're switching. Anton, what was that like? He used a Mac and switched.
No, it's like the Mac adapters, they like we have tested like 10 different kinds in our offices, and they always overheat. Like if you charge through the adapter, they overheat. If you consume a lot of Ethernet over the adapter, they overheat. So when the live stream went out, then the adapter was overheating.
Yeah, because we had like 2 HDMI streams in and Ethernet from the same USB-C port. So don't do that at home.
More adapters is what you're saying if you're running a Mac.
Do you know the service called Fiverr?
No, I haven't heard of that.
So it started out as a place where you could pay $5 and then you get a logo or something designed by a designer online. Today they're doing all sorts of stuff, like for instance overlays for OBS Studio for Twitch players and all that stuff. So it could be if we want to have a professional looking overlay on OBS, it might be worth investigating. It's like super cheap, and then
we can check. And also, but I think already Oliver asked from Andre, who's doing that for a living too. He that already also created our logos.
Okay.
So we can see if he has time to spend some hours on doing it.
It would maybe also be good if he had some input to the website as in his current form.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
we need this design help. Yeah. Sorry.
When do we stop here? Because I'm one of the few people who have a job that actually need to do stuff.
Now, I guess. I think we are.
I'm not a CEO or anything here. I'm just
a regular guy.
Yeah.
I think we are out of time in 20 seconds. So I guess
I don't have more to say either, so it's fine for me.
So I guess we'll cut it short with 9 seconds left, and say thank you for this time, and see you all in next time, or maybe some of you in San Diego. It's not Barcelona, San Diego, in a couple of weeks. So bye.
Yeah, good trip.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.